Hello everyone, I want to try something new. I call this the MMA Striking Skill Builder Instructional, but it's just a sampler. It's more about feeling everybody out. I'm going to chill on UFC breakdowns for a bit for reasons that most of you will know. If not, I left the reason in the description, so just check that out. So, what else do you start with, right? Let's start with our jab cross and or 1-2.
So the jab, I want you to push off with your rear foot, throw the jab, and then bring it home and throw the 2. Okay, so now if you're throwing your straight right or straight left, and you're here, you are wrong. Okay, if you feel all your weight on your front foot, you are wrong. When you throw the first punch, you're in the true boxer stance. When you throw the second punch, you're in the true boxer stance. This is no longer the true boxer stance. Okay, so let's concentrate on throwing all of our punches.
Okay, so what I want you to notice here, this guy's a really good coach, I don't know his name, is he's pushing off of his right foot to throw the jab, and he's going to pull in his right leg when he throws the cross. Now, both hips coincide with the respect punch, so your left hip is going to go with your jab, as is your right hip going to go with your 2 and or cross. You should be on the ball of your feet at all times, really, and especially when you throw this 2 down the pipe. You have what I call the putting out the cigarette effect of putting your toes to the ground, ball of your foot, and that's going to really allow that power to come all the way from your foot, through your leg, through your body, through your shoulder. Think of it like how fight science would have, electricity shoot all the way to the end of your hand. The other thing you'll notice, see his elbows not flaring out. The turning of his hip toward the opponent, well, air in this in this case, his elbow doesn't flare out. It's a straight line. Anyone that had seen my old jab cross videos knows the quickest route. So here's Freddie Roach. His left hook was nicknamed Manilla Ice and on the speed bag. So listen to Freddie's explanation and rationale.
The bag. Okay, you're going to catch it early in the bag. It's not as relevant like it blocked like somebody's chin. This is. It's more like somebody's chin. A left hook is. Okay, that's why I like that shot so much. It's through your opponent. So I'm going to jack it up right into the board. It's going to be a nice quick shot. Right there.
Notice he's going away from the wall, by the way, not toward it.
It's a nice short shot.
Here it is slowing down. Now, any student of mine will tell you that I've been using this for years. I think I got the idea from Freddie. I know it's not my own idea, so deductive logic tells me that it was. This is an excellent way to learn how to throw a through hook. A lot of times as a pad holder, anyone that is or has been knows that when people struggle with a hook, they struggle with the through element, the whipping, your hip follow through. So next, pivot. And I put both ways because a lot of people only are comfortable kind of pivoting to their weak side. You got to be able to pivot forward like that into that left hook. You can do this with a heavy bag. You don't need that uppercut wall mount by any stretch. Now see those blue lines? Those represent 45-degree angles, and it'll kind of just teach you to pivot within the line. This guy's pivot's not perfect. So he's kind of heel heavy. The hook looks nice, and that would be the road less traveled there. And see what he's doing here. See how he's stepping with his heel a bit. I'm not trying to overly critique the guy. He's probably great. But just in this particular clip, you want to be heavy on that front foot, up on the toe of it, and then drag or swing around that back foot. Again, you can do that in a heavy bag. Again, keep 45-degree angles in mind, even if you don't have tape. So this next thing, a lot of times I'll call it an L step or a drop L. This person, his name is Nate Bauer Fitness. Check out his channel. He's really good. He's friends with JT Van V. He calls it a kickback. Drop step, also, you'll see. And what I would always do with my students is set these up either in a semicircle, if it was, a couple of people, or a larger full circle if it's a bunch of people. And I'd also have, every time that they would step in between the cones, them just throw a 1-2 to make it semi-realistic. And the better they get, I might also have, something to throw at them, whether it be just a long stick, and they can add, other elements, if you will. You can kind of duck under as you're moving between. But the difference between this being for boxing and 90% of my coaching not being for boxing, even if I'm teaching someone how to box, it's kind of MMA friendly boxing, which is a little different, and it's just more circular movement because of just, honestly, most of it's because of ring versus, octagon and or cage. 90% of MMA being held within something circular, unless you're in Japan. So partner drills are super important. It's much like holding pads, except interactive, in that you're seeing strikes come at you, and you can start incorporating movement into these too. And I tried to use the most, this is intermediate to advanced as far as the drills that Nicky's doing, and we're talking about probably the most advanced striker in the world. And a lot of people got mad at that because they wanted to say Senchai or Buakaw, blah, blah, blah. Buakaw and Senchai can't compete in professional boxing, whereas Nicky can. And by pure striker, he can compete in any type of striking. Pure Muay Thai, he'd do just fine. Glory kickboxing, he does just fine. And the reason that I'm not explaining these is because if you want to memorize them, you're not going to on the spot anyway. Just keep in mind, this is kind of advanced, and when you see Nicky do them at full speed, that's kind of something you may want to aim for, because he's probably about 180 right there. He's 6'1", but to watch that speed for someone 180, 190 is pretty insane. The point of this one here is blocking that left hook right after he throws it. Watch how it comes back to his head to block, to throw another left hook. And, that's kind of more kickboxing friendly than it is MMA, but it's still good to get your left hook back at your face no matter what, even if it's, with a flared elbow. I often talk about elbow blocking. That's kind of funny. What he's showing here is when someone throws a left hook and you're supposed to go under, right, for say a guard splitter or a leg kick like that, not to go out and away or lateral. He's going into the opponent and under the left hook. Blocking to the body. Now here's a double duck, and that's a better looking pivot. See how he's kind of sliding away on the second one? I like that block low into the shovel hook, and I like the double duck. There we go. And this speed is more to watch for inspiration than to aim for. Here he's showing jab, jab, leg kick. And what he's showing that's important here is a couple of things. One thing is, a lot of people have trouble going jab into right leg kick. But if you throw it like your leg kick, that is, as if you were throwing a 2 or a right cross, it'll start making a lot more sense. And just lead with it like he is there. So he's using it to frame. He's covering his face from a counter. So that's what he's saying here. And what he's going to do off this one is afterwards, he's going to go right into a hook. This is kind of semi-quick sit, which is something I brought up that people asked about. What's a quick sit? It's just my own nomenclature for a technique. It just means as soon as he steps, it's sitting on your punches, meaning your feet are grounded to put power into him. He's set quick. And that last one with the hook after the leg kick is very good for against southpaws, especially if you put kind of an overhand arc to it. Keep in mind with these, it's not just going to be Nicky. You're going to be the other guy, the pasty white guy, and I can say that because I'm Irish. You'd go back and forth with all of this. And here's another good example of the quick sit. And not just that, something else that I talk about a lot, which is the Dutch hand trap, peeling, whatever you want to call it. You see it a lot in Dutch kickboxing. Boxers have been doing it forever, but you really have always seen it like kind of K1 Dutch style. There it is, and there, see off of his right leg kick, as soon as that foot hits the ground, he explodes into that right cross. Now this one's cool because you got some same side stuff going on, and you also, as the person that's kind of the defensive partner, you're learning some good defense too. And I'll tone it up for that one. So they had a little bit of everything where you're throwing, right punch into right kick. Now this last one I would call advanced, and by advanced I don't mean that you have to be the person in this clip. You don't have to be at that level of striking or an advanced striker or anything like that. we called it Muibaran, or I called it Muibaran drills, meaning that you don't have any type of protection except for maybe groin protection, jockstrap, whatever you want to call it. Otherwise, you are barehanded, no shin pads, no nothing, and this keeps most non-sociopaths sort of at bay, where you're working on technique solely for the most part. A nice little question mark kick there. Connor doing his Melo de Compasso, and see he's kind of like hand fighting, fake cross there. There he is back to southpaw. See body kicks that he's sort of blocking. That guy just did a scissor kick, kind of returns one, and oblique kick that he's not doing hard. See, none of it is at full strength. He might pick up the speed in, like, see that kick, for instance, that he did, which was kind of like an extra spinned tornado kick. I don't know exactly what he just did there. But the point being, no one's punching each other in the face. No one's going to get hurt doing this. And the reason that I call it advanced is that you want to be ring ready before you're doing something like this, and you definitely don't want to do this with people that you don't trust to do it with. The objective here, and the reason that I use the counter clip, I see what he's doing here. He's doing it like chaspas, or as everyone knows it, the oblique kick, which is completely made up. It's not a real thing. It's called a chaspas kick from Savat. Anyway, he's doing that into a Superman punch. It's pretty cool. See, I'll remember that. Anywho, see the speed there picking up. The point is, I use Connor because I know when he coached the Ultimate Fighter versus Faber, he had quoted something that Kavanaugh had said. Coach Kavanaugh said something to the effect of, don't hate me if I get it wrong, but that when you spar like this, basically you are upgrading your software without damaging your hardware. And I think, the clip kind of speaks for itself in that regard, or should make sense. But it's a really good way to start, from the beginning of this all the way to the end of this. And it's just a sampler to just kind of understand the thought process of beginner to more ring ready. That's all I mean by advanced, is that you're ready to maybe step in and compete. So hopefully you enjoyed. Leave your comments in the section below. Thank you.